Now, ladies and gentlemen, the issue that has been on the talk today is the issue of the abduction of the Mumias East Member of Parliament, Honorable Peter Salasya. Something that came out of the blues, something that has become the topic of discussion on the validity of Peter Salasya's abduction today. Now, how legit was the abduction of Peter Salasya? How legit was it? It's the question that we're asking. As of right now, as we speak, Peter Salasya, according to the intel that we are gathering from his people, he has not been availed at any police station. Lawyers have been lobbying to try and track him down after it was said that he was abducted in Nanyuki. But they are unable to pinpoint the location of Peter Salasya. It was said that he was arrested by DCI detectives, and first they said that he was taken to DCI headquarters in Kiambu Road. But when journalists and lawyers went there to try and rescue Peter Salasya from the DCI headquarters, they were told Salasya is not at the DCI HQ, he is at the Nairobi Central Police Station, where his lawyers, if you can look at a video that we covered outside the Nairobi Central Police Station in the evening, Peter Salasya was not there. Now, allow me to get into details. Many have told you that Peter Salasya is a state project. This began about few days ago, mostly on May 9th, 2025, when the first exposure on Peter Salasya as a state project was publicized by Maverick Aoko. Maverick Aoko is one of the most trusted bloggers that we have in the 254 because every intel that she unveils in one way turns out to be the truth. Now, this is what Maverick Aoko did on 9th of May. She said this: "Uwi kujeni, hii nimepata sahi hadi nikajihurumia na vile it began cheering him up. Sasa whom do we trust? My guy Peter Salasya kumbe umeingia box. Few months ago, Salasya leaked his payslip claiming deductions rendered him penurious. You have noticed he suddenly stopped hanging out with Akina Sudi, resorting to cuddling Ruto, yet you have never seen the UDA people attack him ferociously. Kumbe Salasya had collected 40 million from one Kato Olemetito, the State House co-patroller, to be the youthful presidential candidate. Ndio agawe kura za vijana na Waluya. His coastal tour with hashtag yes. Now, allow me to go back to Peter Salasya. When did the state start fishing out Peter Salasya? Remember, after after Raila Amolo Odinga joined and signed the MOU between him and President William Ruto, there was a game that was being played at Nyayo Stadium. It was a game between I think Gabon and Kenya, Harambee Stars. And Salasya attended that game. And that is when Peter Salasya was attacked by people believed to be loyalists of the ODM party. Because the reason why they attacked him, Salasya had been touring and loitering around the western part of Kenya, attacking Raila Amolo Odinga and calling all Luyas to disassociate themselves with the ODM party and render Raila Amolo Odinga persona non grata in the western region of Kenya. Now, after that attack, Peter Salasya was the talk of the town. And that is when the state discovered the impact that Salasya had. And that is how they approached Salasya to become a project of the state. And from then, Peter Salasya stopped attacking Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto and calling for the union of the Luya people. Few days after that is when Peter Salasya, on 28th of April, came out and declared his bid for the presidency, claiming that he will be vying for the president in the year 2027. Now, when we look at it, Peter Salasya, a first-time member of Parliament of Mumias East, having a very illustrious career that was awaiting him in terms of politics of the western part of Kenya, everybody began thinking that the guy was really joking. But after that announcement, Peter Salasya began traversing the country with a convoy of vehicles, Prado TX and Land Cruisers, all of them multi-million cars, fully fueled. And yet this Salasya was the man that revealed to us that the amount of money that he got from his payslip was only 18,000 every month because of all the deductions that he underwent. So the question was, how was this man funding his campaign trail? Remember, he began in the western part of Kenya. He began from Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, campaigning saying that he wants to vie for the presidency, which everybody knows was a mere dream. And in his campaigns, Peter Salasya stopped attacking Raila Amolo Odinga and stopped using the name of President William Ruto. Are we together? Now, when Aoko exposed him for the first time, one day later, Peter Salasya brought to Raza Kipindi on social media, claiming that ununiformed police officers with masks and guns were trying to arrest him while he was in Kilifi during his coastal region tour. Are we together? The question that a lot of Kenyans ask, why all of a sudden, as Peter Salasya started being haunted, yet the man doesn't attack the president, and why is he being haunted immediately after it was revealed that Salasya might be a project of the state? Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo? So those are the questions that we were left with. And after claiming that he was being arrested and the police were chased by people who were his supporters, the next day a question came in. If you are being arrested and being abducted at night by people claiming to be police officers, did you in any way report to the nearest police station the following morning during the day and acquire OB number stating that you are being abducted? No, he didn't do that. He proceeded to continue with his tour in Mombasa, and then from Mombasa, Salasya proceeded to Machakos. From Machakos, he proceeded to Tharaka Nithi, then Meru, and then yesterday, on Friday, Salasya was in Isiolo County. After finishing in Isiolo County, Salasya was returning back to Nairobi when he tells us that he was abducted by people claiming, by unknown people claiming to be DCI officers with AK-47s, that they shot the tire of his vehicle. And then they abducted him forcibly until now he cannot be traced. Now let me tell you one thing, and let's deduce these claims of Peter Salasya's abduction in this manner. Peter Salasya says he was abducted and he had a contingent of people that were traveling with him in his campaign trail for the presidency. He was abducted in Nanyuki. What he showed us to reveal that he was abducted was the tires of a vehicle, claiming that they had been shot by an AK-47, rendering his vehicle, making the vehicle that it can't move. Now, let me ask you, you are driving a Toyota Land Cruiser. You realize that you're being followed. These people are carrying AK-47s. Will you stop and wait for them to come and take you? Yet you have a contingent of vehicles. You will proceed and you will, you will accelerate to try and escape the abduction or the arrest. But Salasya didn't do that. And these people are seen to have aimed at the vehicle and shot the front tire. Tell me, if he had realized he was being followed and being trailed and they were chasing him, how could the DCI officers shoot his front tire? Meaning they shot on the side from the sideways. How could they shoot his front tire with the car accelerating and the car comes into a sudden stop without, rolling or crashing down? That tells you that this is a Kipindire that Salasya has been playing with us to try and cover the claims that he is a project of the state. Another thing, on the social media, on the whole allegations of him being arrested and being abducted, he had people with him who had mobile phones. Why didn't anybody capture Salasya being arrested and being manhandled, as he tells us in the statement that he gave? Why didn't anybody capture a video or pictures of police officers who are arresting him? All they showed us as the evidence that Salasya was abducted was the tire of the vehicle that he claims was shot. And that is where we come into this other revelation by Maverick Aoko this evening. And this one will shock you, because Aoko tells us this through a post that he has posted on his social media. He tells us that yes, Peter Salasya is a project of the state. He is a Kenya Kwanza mole that's fully sponsored. He has been noisy about government, about Mumias and sugar, but when the government of Kenya decided to lease 4 public sugar mills at night, he was conveniently paid to run around distracting us with a charade of a presidential campaign nonsense. I really come into agreement with this, because since the lease of the said sugar companies, Mumia Sugar Company, Chemelil Sugar Company, all of them, since they were leased to one Rai, the Indian guy, on these tours that Peter Salasya has done, have you heard him in any of them condemn the selling off of the Mumia of these sugar companies? No, you haven't heard him. Another thing, Peter Salasya, all other Western region leaders who are in opposition were all organizing protests against the lease of these sugar companies in the western part of Kenya. But Peter Salasya was nowhere to be seen during this demonstration, telling us that he was campaigning for his presidential bid in different parts of the country, which clearly tells you that Peter Salasya is a project of the state. And with this abduction, it is staged to make us believe that Peter Salasya is genuine. So they expected that if it is announced that he has been abducted, then Gen Zs and other leaders will rally behind him requesting for his release. But it has turned out to be different, because people are clearly convinced that Peter Salasya's abduction is just a sham and a charade that Peter Salasya is playing with us. Peter Salasya, as a project, he was brought in by the government to try and win the hearts of the Gen Z, because they saw how the Gen Zs reacted when Salasya claimed that he had been attacked at Nyayo Stadium during the Harambee Stars game. So they thought that really this guy had the Gen Zs around his finger. But who hung to them? Nobody seems to be caring about a person that they have been told he is a traitor. When you look at this, another reason why Peter Salasya is being funded by the state. One Honorable George Natembeya, the governor of Trans Nzoia County, has been calling for the union of the Mulembe Nation and the Luya people, wanting them to vote as a bloc in the 2027 general election to make the government that will replace the government of William Ruto. But when Peter Salasya came in, he refused to recognize George Natembeya. Yet George Natembeya and Peter Salasya were all elected under the DAPK party. And more so, the DAPK party funded Peter Salasya's campaign for Mumias East election in the year 2022. So the question is, Bwana Jamaa, if he's really genuine, why wouldn't he use DAPK as his party during this campaign? We are being told he is preparing to launch a party that he wants all the Gen Z to rally behind it. Bwana watu si wajinga. Tell me what is the take in regards to this. Achia maoni yako kwenye comment section. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.